Hey love, I'm not here to give you all the answers. I just want to speak to something you might not say out loud. Maybe you've been feeling it too. That slow, heavy, unraveling, that strange space where nothing feels certain, where your reflection feels familiar but off, like you're quietly watching yourself from the outside and wondering, who am I anymore? And it's not necessarily about a breakup or losing someone. It's deeper than that. It's you. Something inside is shifting quietly, invisibly, and it's terrifying because you can't explain it. You can't point to it, but you can feel it. It's in the way certain conversations exhaust you now, in the way you stop laughing at jokes you used to force yourself to find funny, in the silence you crave, in the people you're pulling away from, in the dreams you once fought that suddenly feel heavy, in the clothes you're no longer comfortable in the mirror, the one that reflects the version of you that's in between. You might feel like you're drifting, floating somewhere between who you were and who you were meant to become, and it's disorienting. But let me tell you something that I wish someone told me. You are not broken, you are shedding. God is removing what no longer fits you. And yes, it hurts. It feels like grief, like a part of you is dying. But it's not really dying, it's transforming. And sometimes that process is painful, but God is there, even when you can't feel His presence. I know it feels lonely, like you're standing at the edge of the unknown, afraid to take the next step because you don't know what's waiting. But what if this space, this liminal moment, is exactly where God is teaching you to trust, teaching you patience, teaching you grace? Let me take you back to a night I remember like it was stitched into my skin. I was in a room I'd been 1,000 times, my own. The same bed, the same ceiling, same lamp in the corner, but something felt different. It was as if my body was still there, but I wasn't. I was hovering emotionally, mentally, spiritually, outside of it. Like I was watching my own life on mute. Nothing was wrong, and yet everything felt unfamiliar. I sat there in that stillness and I didn't cry. I didn't even speak. I just felt the ache of not recognizing myself anymore. It wasn't depression, it wasn't anxiety, it was something harder to name. Grief, maybe. Grief for the version of me I had outgrown. Grief for the pieces I carried too long. Grief for the idea of who I thought I had to be. That night did not give me clarity, but it gave me the kind of truth that I couldn't run from anymore. The truth that I had no idea who I was, and that maybe for the first time, that was okay. Here's the thing, no one really talks about how hard it is to outgrow your old self, to look at the version of you that kept you safe for years. The one that smiled when they wanted to scream, who dimmed their light to make others comfortable, who stayed quiet to avoid conflict, just to realize they're not coming with you. You don't need that version of you anymore. But I understand letting go. It feels like betrayal, even though you're doing it all out of love for you and for God. It's the kind of letting go that leaves an ache deep in your bones. A silent mourning for what was familiar and felt safe, even if it wasn't right. A grief for the parts of you that you had to hide. A grief for the dreams that you thought were yours, but maybe never truly belonged to you. And that transition, that terrified, sacred, in-between place where you don't know who you are, only that you can't go back to who you were, that's where the real becoming begins. So if you're there right now in that weird fog of identity loss and inner rewiring, I want to tell you this. You are not alone, you are not behind, and you are not failing. God is walking with you in this moment, even if you don't feel it. You are becoming, and it is sacred. This path doesn't have to be clear or straight. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it feels like a spiral, looping back through the same questions, the same fears, only to come out a little stronger each time. And it's not always pretty. It's not always some goddess level glow up. Sometimes it's tears in your car. Sometimes it's sleeping too much or not at all. Sometimes it's deleting everyone you ever once loved or starting over for the 7th time. Sometimes it's saying no for the first time and not even recognizing your own voice. But it's sacred, all of it, because underneath that confusion, that discomfort, that grief, there's truth. There is a you who's closer than the surface than ever. They're quieter than the version that you used to present. They're real. And once you meet them, really meet them, you'll never go back. And I know you want to feel sure again. I know you want to recognize yourself again. But what if you're not meant to return to anything? What if the goal is not to get back to yourself, but to meet yourself for the very first time? The version of you who doesn't perform, who doesn't shrink, who doesn't prove, who doesn't apologize for being soft, slow, or still. They're not loud, but they're honest. They don't hustle for love because they're learning to give it inward. They don't have all the answers, but they finally have their own voice. And that's more than enough. So let this be your permission slip. You're allowed to not know who you are right now. You're allowed to feel lost and still be moving. You're allowed to hold joy and grief in the same breath. You're allowed to be quiet, to grow in ways no one sees. You're allowed to take the long way. There is no timeline, no rush, no performance needed. You are not a project. You are a person, and every version of you, confused, tender, undone, deserves love. So stay, breathe. Don't run from this version of you. They are not broken. They are not wrong. They're just becoming. And even in this in between, you are already enough. God has never left. God sees every step of your journey, even when you feel invisible. He is guiding you, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in moments of unexpected clarity. You are becoming in God's perfect timing, and you are more than enough for this season of growth. And if you ever feel lost, remember these signs. Angel numbers like 111, 222, or 444 showing up repeatedly are messages from the divine and God that you are on the right path, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. A sudden breeze when you're feeling stuck, reminding you that God's presence is always near. A feeling of peace washing over you unexpectedly is proof that you're being held, even when it's hard to believe. Hold on to these signs. Let them be gentle reminders that this transformation is divinely guided. You are not alone. And when you feel ready, step forward, even if it's just one small step, with faith that the next version of you is waiting, ready to shine. You are becoming, you are enough, and you are deeply loved. Peace and love.